Hey guys, hope you're doing awesome. Hope you're having a beautiful day. I know I am. I have caffeine, I have sunlight, and I have plants. So what else does a growing boy need? But anyway, I thought I'd talk about just some good things I wish I had learned a little bit sooner. But again, I'm lucky enough. I'm still pretty young, so I have some time. But again, time waits for no one. So the sooner you deal with problems and get over it, the better life is. So something that I wish I had dealt with at a younger age, I did, younger than a lot do, but I wish I dealt with this sooner, was my relationship with my parents. And so I was raised in a very religious household, homeschooled household, very strict household. And again, I'm still religious. I'm a Christian. But I was raised in a very stereotypical 90s homeschool household, where we get the crazy stereotypes from. So when I was a kid, my mother left my dad, and she actually she left him for a guy, and he had a family, and we actually ended up living in his basement. Basement floor of his house. Wasn't not weird basement, still was weird, but we ended up living in the bottom floor of the house. They lived in the top floor of the house, him and his family. Again, weird, odd situation. And so my mom lived there. She lived there, and she just was always anxious, always just filled with dread, and she would use the kids. It was me, my siblings, my sisters. She would use us as her emotional support animal, in essence, her emotional support panda. So she would come to us, and she'd always be freaking out about something that just wasn't a big deal. She'd always be freaking out about something that just didn't really seem to matter. And the thing is, when you do that to your children, it stresses your kids out. It emotionally just drains you. And so me and my siblings, for years, we were exhausted. We were tired out of our minds. We were just stressed to the max. Had panic attacks, all these things, didn't make sense. And both our parents had this relationship that was just very inappropriate for a parent to have, where they wanted us to raise them. And what happened was, it made, especially for me, it made me really resentful. It made me feel super isolated. I know my mom, basically, long story short, I ended up supporting her financially as a teenager, because I was taught as a firstborn son of God, support your mom, right? And everyone was like, you're here to support your mother. She's a poor woman. You need to support your mother. And so I did, because I thought to be a good Christian boy, I have to do that. But what I didn't realize, my mom's young. She's able. She can work a job. She has a degree. Why am I, as a teenager, doing this? It was just very, very stressful. And what happened was, I went through a really deep depression for a bit because of that, and very isolated. Stayed away from people. I really I had I remember having plenty of girls who I knew were interested in me and stuff like that. I just didn't want to pursue it, because I was just so I felt like I had just gotten out of the longest marriage of my life. I was a divorcee when I left home. And but because I stopped supporting my mom, she stopped talking to me. And in fact, she hasn't really talked to me at all in about 8 years now. And the thing is, do I hate my mom? Do I hate my dad? No, I don't. I love them both. But understanding that what we went through growing up was dysfunction, was not right, shouldn't have happened. But also realizing hey, if they're going to choose to just not have you in their life because they're mad that their child is not supporting them financially, that their child is not going to just take their crazy drama 24/7, that's all from their bad decision making. Hey, well, I guess we're just not gonna have a relationship you'd like. But it's something where, though, that if you can just fully forgive the people and just realize that I'm sure they were doing the best they could with the information they had, and just move on with your life. Life tends to get far, far better. Not in a selfish way, but just, I forgive them, I'm okay, and everything will be fine. But anyway, it's something that took me a while to get over, but it's life's far better on the other side when you can. Anyway, guys, I'll see you later. Adios.